On the day of our engagement, my fiancé activated a joint debit card for me. I stared at the number on the screen. $5? It's $5 and change. 520, sounds like I love you. Then, claiming we needed to save for married life, he took my salary card. I floated on hope, until I accidentally bought a $2 bottle of water with the joint card and my phone exploded with frantic calls. Seriously, you actually used it? Still holding the $2 bottled water, I watched him drop thousands on his secretary in the boutique while his voice sliced through the air like a stranger's. Transfer the money back right now. I've never seen anyone so materialistic. I hung up quietly and dialed another number. Eleanor, I'll take the arranged marriage. Outside City Hall, marriage license in hand, my mind felt fogged with disbelief. I hadn't expected the groom my mother picked to be my childhood neighbor, Ashton. The man beside me gave me all the time I needed to reboot. When I finally blinked back to life, he said, "We've known each other forever, but starting today we're husband and wife." Ashton took a stack of medical reports from his assistant. "I'm healthy, no bad habits, take a look. Also," he added, slipping a black card from his suit pocket, "Wife, here's my salary." I waved my hands in protest, but he wouldn't back down. After a standoff, I accepted the black card. When I took it, my fingers brushed his trembling ones. Ashton froze, the tips of his ears flushing red. "I have to fly overseas for a week. When I get back, I'll throw you the grand wedding you deserve." Only then did I learn that my single call had made him change his flight and postpone meetings just to meet me here. "All right, go. I'll wait for that grand wedding." The moment Ashton left, I ran into two people I never expected to see outside City Hall. I glanced at the woman in Nathan's passenger seat. "What are you doing here?" Nathan looked uncomfortable. I. He stalled, then countered, "Bella, what are you doing here?" "Oh," I said, lifting the marriage certificate, "I came to get hitched." Nathan's face darkened. He stared at me, voice hard. "Bella, are you stalking me? And faking a marriage license just to scare me?" His sudden fury startled me. I froze, and he took my silence for guilt. "All I did was help a girl from my hometown. Do you have to be this aggressive? You'd stoop to staging a wedding at City Hall?" Shameless. I studied the familiar face in the car and the pieces clicked. It was the same girl I'd seen in the luxury store. The secretary he'd personally hired, Stella. I gave a cold laugh. "So? How exactly are you planning to help her? The poor thing got knocked up by a loser. To get her parents off her back, we'll register first. We can still marry later." I watched their fingers interlaced beneath the hem of their clothes, my own hand tightening into a fist while my expression stayed calm. "Skip the later. No need for the hassle. Just send a group text, engagement's off." Nathan's temper flared. "Come on, quit the drama. City Hall closes soon. I don't have time for this. After I deal with her parents, we'll get married." Stella chose that moment to lift her wrist, flashing the new gold bangle. She smiled, eyes glinting with challenge. "Nathan and I are really nothing serious, sis. Don't overthink." She stroked her belly. "Relax, in a few months I'll." When I couldn't tear my gaze from the bangle, Nathan's face darkened again. "Bella, why so materialistic? I bought you a ring and opened a joint debit card, what more do you want?" I looked down at the silver-plated ring on my finger and gave a bitter smile. Nathan was a scholarship kid from the mountains. To protect his pride, I ditched my usual wardrobe and met him on his turf. His penny-pinching ways? I'd called them careful budgeting. Even after I helped him climb to general manager, he kept those habits, except I was the only one he scrimped on. He'd buy us matching $100 silver-plated wedding rings, then spend 6 figures on Stella for a full jewelry suite. The gems caught the sun, practically scorching my eyes. Unable to hide my hurt, I let the sadness show. He noticed. Nathan sighed. "I know you're upset. Fine, on our wedding day I'll throw a lavish ceremony so everyone will envy you. Oh, and when we register, remember to bring cash for the license fee. No joint debit card this time." I stared at their backs as they walked into City Hall and felt the irony burn. The lifestyle I'd grown up with, he saw as nothing but a quest for envy. A normal, thoughtfully chosen birthday gift, he called vanity. I tugged the silver-plated ring off my finger and hurled it into the nearest shrub with everything I had. Thank God it wasn't too late. Too restless to work, I drove to headquarters to cash in 2 years of banked vacation days. The moment coworkers spotted me, heads bent and whispers flew. "Wow, the mistress who chases married men shows her face, always hanging off Director Brooks, flirting right in front of his wife. Anything for money. They went to get licensed and she threw a tantrum outside City Hall. Skin thicker than leather, I swear. Fire her already, she's toxic for the company brand. I tried to ignore them, but my burning eyes betrayed me. Luckily the corridor to HR wasn't long. Only a handful of executives knew I wasn't a regular employee, but the owner, the HR manager, was one. He approved my leave on the spot. Take all the time you need. Ask for more if it helps. My phone buzzed. A WhatsApp friend request from Stella. Her profile photo had just switched to her own marriage certificate. I pressed accept through clenched teeth. Before I could exit, a new Instagram story popped up. Thanks for all the well wishes, guys. Drop by the penthouse condo sometime and we'll really party. The caption sat beneath a photo of the two of them holding their marriage license, smiling at each other in the sunshine. In that instant, loneliness and irony hit me at the same time. He had been the man I loved for years. How could I simply decide to stop? Inside the chat window with Stella, below the auto-generated friend request accepted line, a new message had appeared. The baby I'm carrying is Nathan's. Even though I'd already suspected as much, seeing the truth laid bare still made my heart skip a beat, followed by a sharp, drilling pain. Tears gushed out uncontrollably. In the empty subgarage, I pressed a hand over my mouth and let myself cry in total silence. After a long while, I wiped the corners of my eyes and, with fingers that wouldn't stop trembling, typed a comment under Stella's pinned Instagram post. Trash can, trash lid, perfect fit. Wishing you two 100 years of happiness and a long, long life together. I drove around for hours before I finally went back. Even though I no longer wanted to call that place home, the moment I opened the door and saw Stella lying on the custom-made bed still wearing her street clothes, a nameless fury flared in my chest. What are you doing here? Stella gave me a look, let out a cold little snort, then spoke in the most aggrieved tone imaginable. I thought. Big sis, I'll pack up and leave right now. It's just that the place I'm staying at is full of tough guys upstairs and downstairs. She glanced toward Nathan, who was standing off in the shadows with an unreadable expression. So I'll have to trouble Nathan to drive me back himself. Otherwise, once it gets dark, I'll be too scared. Nathan's brows drew tight. You'll stay right here tonight. Let's see who dares throw you out of my house. Then he turned to me. Go straighten up the guest suite and sleep there like a good girl. Once this blows over, I'll throw you the grand wedding you wanted. I've had a long day, don't make a scene. I stood there trembling with anger, speechless at his shamelessness. I had, in fact, dreamed of a lavish wedding. My personal motto has always been, Emery, love follows money. So I've never hesitated to spend on Nathan. He thinks the unbranded shirts he wears are off the rack. In reality, every one was hand-sewn by a master tailor. I kept telling myself he'd grown up pinching pennies, so of course he hated wasting money on gifts. I never minded, I never needed some extravagance he'd scraped to buy. Looking back, though, the man gave me neither cash nor even the thought behind a present. I tamped down the wave of grief rising in me and met his gaze. I paid for half this house, I have a say in who stays. And I say she's not moving in. When we'd bought the place, Nathan had rejected my offer to split the down payment. I've saved for years, this moment is what it was for, he'd said. A penthouse condo is something the groom buys, period. He covered the down payment, I took over every last detail of the remodel. In the end, the finishes, furniture, and art I selected are worth more than the property itself. Add in the mortgage payments we'd both been making, and half is an understatement. Nathan's laugh was icy. Bella, do you have one scrap of paper proving this house isn't mine alone? The look in his eyes made me feel I was falling into a pit. I'd never guessed that the one time he'd seemed generous, he'd actually been setting a trap. From behind him, Stella watched me, gloating. Miss Sterling, how could you? You rely on others for food and clothes, and now you're salivating over half of someone else's house. Pathetic, really. I gave a cold chuckle. Pathetic how? Leaving that aside, when did my clothes or meals ever come from you? I stared straight at Nathan. When have you ever handed me grocery money? With that joint debit card you opened for $5 and change? Nathan's face darkened instantly. I told you, that was a symbol of my love, nothing more. I couldn't be bothered arguing. Give me back my salary card. I'd never touched that account. After 5 years it held at least 5 or 600 grand. He froze for a second, then exploded. Bella, if you take the salary card back, are you calling off the wedding? Keep throwing this tantrum and I swear I'll never marry you. I laughed at myself when I heard the threat. So the lavish ceremony he promised was going to be bankrolled with my own savings. Once I would have panicked, apologized, begged him to stay. Now I simply didn't care. Not necessary. I'm not interested. Fine, just perfect. Nathan stormed into the bedroom and flung the card at my feet. Take your lousy money and get the hell out. Bella, I can't wait for the day you crawl back begging. I crouched to pick the card up, a stiletto heel stabbed down on my hand. A searing pain shot from my knuckles to my shoulder. I looked up at her amateur theatrics, voice dripping sarcasm. You like garbage? He's all yours. I hope you never live to regret it. Stella had put her full weight behind that stomp. The bloody gash on the back of my hand took 3 full days to scab over. On Instagram, Stella posted daily displays of lovey-dovey bliss with Nathan. Trendy couple spots, luxury boutiques, every flagship jeweler in town. In 3 short days Nathan spent more on her than he had on me in 5 years multiplied by 10. Seeing her invite friends and coworkers to our place, I gave a cold laugh and called Eleanor. Mom, send me the 10 best bodyguards we have, it's urgent. Security takes time to assemble. I watched the sky darken, hesitated, then sent them the address. I'll head over first, get there as fast as you can. The door code hadn't changed, still Nathan's birthday. I stepped inside, every eye in the room snapped to my face. At our engagement party, to save money, Nathan hadn't invited a single relative. Aside from our parents, almost no one even knew we were engaged. By the head count tonight, he'd apparently asked everyone he'd ever met. My appearance shocked the crowd. Someone muttered, "Home-wrecking gold digger, and she still dares show up?" I'd thought coming alone would be safe, until a slab of cake smashed into my dress. Bitch. Once the first person through, more followed, frosting and sponge pelted me from every side. Hands I couldn't see clutched at my hem. A pack of Stella's older male relatives stared at the skin the torn fabric revealed, their eyes slick with something that made my stomach turn. My stomach churned so hard I almost threw up. Wait. Nathan stepped forward, but the next second his words hurled me straight into hell. Dragging her around the doorway doesn't look good, haul her into the guest suite. As they shoved me past him, he bent to my ear, voice low enough for only me to hear. I told you I'd make you beg on your knees. Don't worry, I won't dump you afterward. After today, who else would want a worn-out cast-off like you? Hands clawed at my dress, the fabric tore into rags that dangled off me, hiding nothing. Just as despair closed in, a crash rattled the door. I jerked my head up, hoping, only to see the security door still perfectly intact, followed by Nathan's slap. Enjoy the ride. No one's coming. He glanced at the trembling door and barked, pile the heavy stuff against it. Behave and I'll let you off light. His sneer was cut short by the door exploding inward. Bella. A sob clawed up my throat, but pride pinned the tears in place. I blinked them back, staring at Ashton through wet lashes, unaware how fragile I looked. Ignoring the cake smeared over me, Ashton yanked me free of the stunned mob and crushed me to his chest. Thank God I'm not too late. Relief flooded his eyes, his fingers kept combing through my hair, soothing me, or maybe himself. Outside, Nathan thrashed against the security detail, howling. Who the hell are you? Get your hands off my fiancé, whispers rippled through the room. Didn't he just marry Stella? Now there's another fiancé? A messy triangle. Who's the real homewrecker? Ashton didn't spare them a glance. He stared down at Nathan. This is my wife, paperwork filed and sealed. He lifted his chin toward the guards. Hold everyone till we get back. Then he carried me out to the nearest hotel. Clean up fast. Revenge deserves a spotlight. For the first time that day, I smiled. Deal. After my shower I slipped into the clothes Ashton had sent, then spotted his sneaky touch. Both outfits bore the same subtle monogram. Side by side we screamed matching set. I didn't hate it. He noticed my expression and grinned like he'd won the lottery. He noticed my bare earlobes and clipped on a pair of diamond studs. Next came the necklace, the bracelet, he even slid a ring onto my finger. Whatever they have, my Bella gets too. Let's go, darling. Time for your grand entrance. Back at the penthouse, Nathan and Stella huddled like cornered quail. Anyone who hadn't taken part had been ushered out, the rest stayed to face the music. I waved the guards into the hallway. Stella's relatives, seeing only me, puffed up instantly. Let us out right now, little girl. This is kidnapping, I snorted. So you've heard of the law, thought what you pulled earlier was legal? Before they could retort, Nathan cut in. Proof? You got any? I rolled my eyes. You really think I came back last time for nothing? I pulled 3 minicams from the bedroom, living room, and kitchen. The second Stella's Instagram post went live, I was waiting for this day. I found a thick wad of bank statements. Every stick of furniture here? Auction receipts in my name. I traced the cigarette burn on the side table and the deep slash across the leather sofa, chuckling. I'll keep it simple, pay the tagged price, down to the cent. The relatives gaped at the sky-high numbers. You're scamming us. This junk isn't worth that. Where would a kid like you get that cash? Total fraud. I clicked my tongue. I bought it, I set the value. Where the money came from is none of your business. Oh, and Nathan, I added, turning to the shell-shocked pair, since we're strangers now, I won't bankroll your snacks anymore. But every shirt, every sock? I want reimbursement, full refund. Nathan's glare faltered, he fished out a card, meaning to slam it down, but one look from a guard sent him cowering. He flicked the card across the floor. It's just no-name crap. 50 grand in there, more than enough. Before I could answer, Stella lost it. All these clothes, you bought them for him? My smile turned razor sharp. Realizing your sugar daddy's broke? Devastating, isn't it? Did you honestly think a man who gives his fiancée a $5 and change joint debit card would shower you with gifts? But, I tilted my head, voice syrupy and cold. Let me guess, he took you to fancy places, bought you sparkly trinkets? I drew a card from my purse and held it between 2 fingers. Recognize this? My salary card, never touched in 5 years, had to be at least $500,000. Wonder what the balance is now? And which card do you think he swiped while spoiling you? I straightened, savoring their crumbling faces. Rest easy, I'll chase every penny, from every one of you. Touch my money? You'll cough it back up with interest. Bella walked out, furniture movers trailing, leaving only bare floors. Nathan lay in the empty living room, unable to process the wreckage. Stella's nonstop sobbing drilled into his skull. He snapped, smacking her across the face. Shut it, will you? Since Stella had slept in it, Bella had left the bed. He stepped over her whimpering form and slammed the bedroom door. He rolled the cheap silver-plated ring between his fingers, gut twisting. Years ago he'd stepped off the mountain bus, eyes dazzled by city neon. No one mocked his roots outright, yet a nameless inferiority had lodged in his chest. It wasn't until internship interviews that he spotted Bella in the crowd. By coincidence they were assigned to the same team. The more he got to know her, the harder he fell. Smart and willing to grind, he earned promotion after promotion. Only when 5-figure paychecks started hitting his account did he muster the courage to chase her. They became a couple. Once they were together, Nathan felt the material gulf between them like never before. The gifts he'd once chosen with care suddenly felt too shabby to offer, his affection cheap in its wrapping. So he began to forget birthdays and anniversaries, tossing her whatever trinket lay closest when Bella pressed. His salary kept climbing. By year-end he was brushing 7 digits. Even his first bonus felt huge, and he planned to buy her something real. Then he learned the scuffed tote she tossed around without a thought cost half a year of his life. He tried to remodel her, pull her off that pedestal, drag her into his world. He bought a condo, wanting her inside walls that belonged only to him, turning her into something he owned. He schemed, he counted pennies, he rationed her paycheck like a ledger entry. Not until the engagement party did the truth slam home. Impossible, she could never be crammed into his orbit. They'd been born on different planets. Right then Stella appeared. A girl from his hometown. Same clay, same dust, she felt familiar the instant he saw her. Alex, Stella became his assistant. Little by little he addicted himself to those upward-glancing, star-struck eyes. He began throwing money at her. A $400 dinner was enough to earn her worship. A $10,000 trinket bought koi pouts and baby, you're the best. Nathan started craving that high. Alex's, Stella. And because Bella never lost her temper, still talked about growing old together, his audience swelled. He grew bolder, until he dragged Stella to City Hall and flashed the red marriage booklet in Bella's face. Nathan remembered the man. The stranger who'd stepped forward claiming he was Bella's husband. Only then did the full weight of his own deeds crash over him. He stared at the documents scattered across the carpet, the crimson marriage certificate glaring up like fresh blood. He heard his own heart stutter. Memory surged, wave after wave, until he couldn't breathe. Bella, Nathan sobbed aloud. He sat on the bed until dawn, then jolted awake, scrubbed his face, and drove to Sterling. Yesterday's wedding crash had drawn half the office. Stella had invited plenty of coworkers. The moment he stepped inside, whispers prickled his spine. Exhausted, he shuffled to the break room for coffee and walked straight into the gossip. After that circus last night, Manager Brooks shows up like nothing happened, thick skin, huh? So what's the triangle? He married Stella, but the penthouse deed has Bella's name. I'm lost. Tisk. The ridicule stabbed, but Nathan's first thought wasn't shame, it was Bella. Had she been drowning in this every single day? Strangers pointing at the innocent, and she couldn't even defend herself. Then the target shifted back to her. Bella used to fly under the radar. Basic clothes, basic pay, where'd the money tsunami come from? A couple of guys exchanged smirks. Who knows whose sheets she's been warming? Nathan slammed the door open, fury crackling off him. You want the rundown? Fine. Bella was my fiancée, Stella's the home-wrecking side piece. Curious about Bella's bankroll? This entire building belongs to her family. Keep trash-talking the boss's daughter if you feel like updating your resume. The room went corpse white. Oh really? Believe what you want. He stirred his coffee, carried it to Bella's cubicle. Beside her monitor sat the cheap giveaway toy he'd tossed her last Valentine's. By the pencil cup, their first couple selfie grinning under cracked glass. Memory washed over him again, he couldn't breathe. Tears plopped onto the carpet. Bella. He whispered her name, but no soft "I'm here" came back. He waited until the floor emptied. Bella never showed. HR finally told him she'd taken annual leave weeks ago. Doesn't matter, he murmured. I'll find you, Bella. I was tasting cake flavors with Ashton for our engagement dinner. Childhood neighbors know too much. He read my mind like subtitles. Biggest, priciest, automatic win. I rolled my eyes, he laughed. Kidding, he said, ruffling my hair. You want the story, not the price tag. I couldn't meet his gaze, so I pointed at random to change the subject. Look at that. Of course my finger landed on Nathan. The fragile sweetness shattered. I scowled at the disheveled man panting in the doorway. His face lit the moment he saw me. Bella, come with me, let's get married, right now. I've made peace with the gap. I'll give you everything I have, even if it's pennies in your world. I'll lay my heart open every day, just come. We'll build something better, I swear. I stared at the face I once loved and felt only nausea. Once, those words would have melted me. Every cheap, last-minute gift had left me waiting for exactly this speech. It's not much, but it's yours, it's me. It never came. Instead I got clearance rank junk and zero thought. Old me would have wept yes and eloped on the spot. Now I simply looked past him. Sir, kindly spare my husband the theatrics. He'll be upset. Nathan froze. Husband? A blank look spread across his face as he forced the corners of his mouth upward. Bella, quit joking. He's just an actor you hired to make me jealous, right? Before I could answer, Ashton let out a soft laugh and pulled something from his pocket, a marriage certificate? I stared at him, stunned that anyone would carry that around. He flipped it open and held it under Nathan's nose. Look closely. The man in this photo, Ashton, me, is Bella's legally protected husband. She, Bella, is my lawfully wedded wife. We're busy setting up the reception, so please stop bothering us. Nathan's eyes bulged. Bella, how could you marry someone else? Are you? Knowing the insult he was about to spit, I cut him off with a question. Does your wife know you're here harassing me? I never expected that line to twist in his mind the way it did. I get it now. I understand. Bella, just wait for me. With that bizarre epiphany, he spun around and sprinted out. I stood there, watching his retreating back, dazed. What do you think he understood? Ashton didn't care. He simply caught my wrist. Whatever it was, forget him. Bella, how do you like the decor? This style okay? I gazed at the dazzling white scene, exactly my taste, and my heart fluttered. Someone remembered my favorite things so clearly, how could I not be happy? I met his focused gaze and felt my lips curve upward. I love it. I hadn't expected Nathan to move so fast. On the ride home I got a local push notification, a live stream had started. Inside, a makeup-free Stella was crying to the camera. She painted me, the boss's daughter, as the villain who forced her newlywed husband to abandon his pregnant wife and marry me instead. I'm okay, I have a real job, enough to live on. But my poor baby, not even born yet and already losing his daddy. She broke down sobbing. She even framed my relatives for ruining her so-called luxury goods and demanded a fortune from simple farmers. I can't fight her, so I'm begging for justice here. Within minutes, the trolls had dug up her real identity. My private details were splashed across the comments. My phone flooded with vicious curses until my hands shook. Ashton saw it too. He covered my eyes. "Don't look, sweetheart. I'll fix it." One call and Stella's stream died. The rising hashtag vanished, but silencing them only made the mob hungrier. More insiders crawled out of the woodwork. "There's more, she's making the real wife pay up." The uproar lasted until Nathan stepped in. "Stella isn't the wife, the woman she calls mistress is. Bella and I were engaged. Stella slipped between us, we wronged Bella." The tide turned, most viewers turned on Stella for playing them. A stubborn few kept cursing me, until Sterling Group and Sterling Global issued a joint statement. Attached was a list of everyone who'd harassed me, plus a single line Ashton posted himself. "I've got time and money to take every last one of you down." As the court summons went out, my inbox switched from insults to groveling apologies. I didn't forgive. Just like I'd never forgive Nathan and Stella. I sued them both, criminal fraud and defamation. While investigating Stella, I found something interesting. I printed her sugar daddy records and mailed them to Nathan, along with his own court summons. Surprisingly, Nathan didn't explode. But I had no energy left for either of them. With the wedding days away, Ashton grew anxious. Calming him daily wore me out. Even at the altar his hands wouldn't stop shaking. "Bella," he whispered, seeking comfort, just as another male voice called my name. "Nathan." I watched security block his frantic attempt to crash the ceremony and felt my cheeks burn. My childhood friend bridesmaid nudged me, grinning. "Your criminal record has arrived." I shot her a glare, but Ashton only smiled and patted my hand, suddenly calm. Nathan never made it past the doors. When he realized it was hopeless, he stopped struggling and walked away. The wedding unfolded like a dream. Under 1,000 lights, Ashton slid the ring onto my finger. The grand finale closed perfectly. The next morning a text from my best friend popped up. "Nathan forced Stella to get a paternity test. The baby wasn't his. He stabbed her. Blood everywhere. She died before the EMTs arrived. They delivered the corpse-crumpled fetus. Tragic. Poor thing," she clucked. I frowned. I couldn't pity him. He reaped what he sowed. Nathan was arrested on the spot and marched to prison. The only sentence left is death. When the verdict came down, I was on a tropical island, on my honeymoon with Ashton. Sea breeze lifted my hair as I smiled at the sunset, then at him. "It's perfect." Ashton blinked, then smiled back. "Yeah, perfect." Thanks for listening to today's story. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate it? If you enjoyed the video, hit like and share with friends. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments, so don't forget to subscribe for more gripping tales. See you next time.